The Emperor had changed. He'd been good once, a shy, then people started whispering about mass graves in the woods, midnight rituals, victims screaming. The Imperial Ravens would round up entire villages, and no one ever heard her said to be of great power. But the librarians had hidden the books, so they burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The Ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. Bernard had promised his mother he'd protect him. The kid was looking down, watching his city burn. Sorry, kid, Renato told the kid. Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone.
My mother died for this book!
I promised her I'd protect you. Oh, damn it. The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Renato had to run after him. The two Ravens were staring at the kid like he was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. Hey, Renato said. They cocked their heads at him. Pick on someone as ugly as you. Wait, didn't come out right.
For the Emperor!
The Ravens cawed and rushed at him. Dropship flew overhead. Hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid. Oh, right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke, making the Skyship Docks a gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate. Who let you through? Promise me you'll take the book to the rebels, or I'm gonna steal your ship. I'm not taking the damn book anywhere, and neither are you.
Try and stop!
The kid hopped away. Had to hand it to the kid. He was an idiot. He had guts. Where was Renato going to get a hero sword? Ore and wind essence? That sounds about right. Perfect. A hero sword. QVD. This is what he got for settling down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook, and she'd laughed at Renado's jokes, even when he didn't know who'd made one. And the ravens had come to burn her. And she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid. He came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. There'd been a bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him.
How'd you get across?
He asked the kid.
Where'd you find a hook? I hopped.
Said the kid. Wise-ass kid.
Hey, look out behind you.
Q, said Renato. Ah, ravens. It was time to talk some sense into the kid. Just hook his way across the ledge and chase the kid down. Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills. It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember. And there was the Farthing. She was the fastest ship he'd ever known. She could do the Kestra run in 12 furlongs. Oh, so the salesman told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush.
Stop!
He shouted out.
I'm not giving you the book!
Shouted the kid, and took off.
No! Peter!
The kid ran for it, and a goggler nailed him with its eyebrow. The book was unburned. Next to it were the buckles from the kid's shoes, and a kid-sized pile of ashes. Damn it, why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. Probably have to join the rebellion just to have a place to dock. Well, he'd hated home life anyway. What was the big deal about this book anyway? Maybe he should open it and find out. All that had been years ago. How many? War was a blur. And now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him.
Where are you running, rebel?
Poured the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults.
Just going out for milk?
Renato yelled back.
Where can you run?
Laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind it, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job.
Take us to the rebel base! I will spare your lives!
It called. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven. A sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time. Unless Renato could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper, the legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon to win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off. Not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lapino or the Sky Ripper. Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he didn't exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen the winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? Renato's blood was up. He just needed to smash something. There was an engraving. Maximum capacity, 130 people. People were frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Renato had snooped through an empty town and listened to the Ravens call about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice. He wasn't that good. Yet.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Ronaldo. No?
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lapino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lapino. Where had the mad rabbit got to? It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Well, we should see the other guy. Ronaldo felt a little better.
Dirty and bloody, Ronaldo finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Ronaldo recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, the prison thing. Right, Joe. See, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and his only daughter. That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky River, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power. wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in swordfish school. And you're still mad for her. The rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans. Chuck of the Master's spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right. The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty. Sword. Ice wall. Ice cube. tell if someone's far away, but it's really small. So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lupino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lupino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renato hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renato. This is going to be fun, said Lupino, as he ran to go set up his marvelous plan. The crafting bench. Renato wondered what he could make with it. Renato felt like he was ready to learn new things. Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that. This was way better than being able to shrink down to the size of an ant. What was that all about, anyway? Renato felt dubious about the whole plan. With every step, he was waiting for it all to go horribly wrong. But against all odds, Lupino's idiotic plan worked. Zenobia's ravens ran off after the geese, the net dropped, and Renato jumped out of the watermelon and put his sword to Zenobia's throat. Renato, she said, are those new scones? They look good on you. You never returned my velvet jacket. It was my favorite. You look stupid in velvet. Oh, what does an imperial princess know about style? Oh, get a room, you two, said Lupino. But the fleet was coming on fast, so they put Zenobia on the Farfarer and took her east, over the Nexus. She'd vanished from swordfish school, from his life, without even saying goodbye, without ever telling him she was the Emperor's adopted daughter. Ah, Lupino was right, Renato thought reluctantly. She knows things. She recognized his look. You're taking me to the interrogators, aren't you? She said, wide-eyed. And then she jumped, with horror. Renato saw Zenobia plummeting, Then he saw the nexus below them. Cats always land on their feet.
Oh, she'll head for the Imperial outpost. Yeah, Babino. You have to catch her.
Cats can run faster, but foxes can run longer. If he ran, he could head her off before she reached her minions at the outpost. Well, he did love a good chase. There were stickers all over the platform for really hot lady foxes, with pictures and addresses and everything. Nada had been the terror of the sandcastles when he was 2. There was a cat in this one, and something useful. Who needed bridges anyway?
What are you doing? Are you in the bathroom? See? You're so stupid.
Yeah, I was born when I was
was closing on her. He could smell her fear. He tried not to think about the interrogators at the secret base. What did they do to her? Maybe it didn't have to end that way. Maybe he could talk to her. But, after all, there were worse things the Imperials had done to friends of his. If I craft a sword now, it's going to be really short.
What happened? Well, she broke it. Yes, please, babe. No. We stay eating now. Something different, please. I haven't had a filet-o-fish for a while.
Bernardo reached the outpost. The Imperials there were no match for him. Soon after, Zenobia limped up the path. When she realized he was already in front of her, she didn't even try to run. Oh, he left without saying goodbye. Again, he said, "Please, I'm enjoying this a little too much." His head was shaken. "Ah, spare us the chit-chat, would you?" said Lapino as he shackled her hands so she couldn't throw spells. She knows all his plans, all the way back to the father. Lapino nagged Bernardo about how the interrogators would pry all the intel out of Zenobia, how that would turn the tides in the imminent battle. All they had to do was take her to the rebel secret base. Bernardo didn't like to think about what the interrogators would do to her. Couldn't he just talk to her?
Babe, can you print out my pay stubs? So they're right here, look at it. Show her the baby. You be MIA, you stupid little slut. You don't be visiting the baby or nothing. You don't even love him. Yeah, he's eating cereal. Yeah, they're gonna give him cereal soon. Alright.
As they reached the ruins, Renato could see ravens everywhere, searching for the rebel base. They'd have to hide the Farfarer or go on foot.
I
What
went,
if we get
I'm live
separated?
streaming
Asked
for my
Lupino.
YouTube,
For once,
and
thinking
some
ahead.
kid
I'll show you a
wrote
map
to
to
me
the
on my
base.
YouTube.
Renato told Lupino. Renato?
He wanted me to subscribe
do
to him.
this.
He asked me if he should
You were friends
subscribe me,
once.
and I'm like, sure, why
Shut
not?
it, witch.
So
Or I'll
I
crack at your
subscribed
mouth
him,
too.
and I added him and everything.
And then, a few moments later, he touched down.
Then there was somebody else asking me a question about how to live stream on the PS4. Come on, let's go.
As Lupino pulled Zenobia off the Farfarer, Renato readied himself for the battle ahead.
I'm sorry I nicked your jacket, she said. It's just... It's stupid, but it smelled like you. What? He said, confused. Then... Why didn't you write? Why didn't you fast speak?
Oh, save the romantic nostalgia. Let's go! Shrieked Lupino. So Renato launched himself down the path to the secret base.
I love you.
He was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things. The platform used a hybrid propulsion system fueled by anti-gravity and wishful thinking. That was always a rush.
firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
They caught their breath. It's beautiful, she said, looking at the ruins. This used to be the library of Ubar, he said, before your father's ravens smashed it. Do we have to talk politics? She asked. That's not how I want to remember you, she said with an odd, wistful look on her face. She was as beautiful as she'd ever been, and as brave. Apino huffed. They got back on the trail.
These things really slice like ham. To everything, there is a season. He turned over and died. Long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Already Renato knew more than he ever had. But about what? As they made their way to the secret rebel base, Renato felt strange. Zenobia was his prisoner, yet somehow she felt more like an old friend. He wanted to tell her all his secrets. Suddenly, the ruins lit up with thousands of fireworks. There was a thunderous roar and dust rose. The caves were collapsing. The caves!
You've been playing me? Renato said, and he stared at Zenobia.
I'm sorry, she said. She seemed almost embarrassed. Then everything went dark. When Renato came to, he had a terrible headache. And so, Zenobia's sword was at his throat. And her shackles were gone. So was Lupino.
The terrible thing is, he said, I really have missed you. Now that we've destroyed the rebellion, would you consider becoming an advisor to the Emperor's daughter?
I'm no one's servant. Everybody serves.
Even if it's only destiny.
I like to choose my own destinies, he said.
The whole point of a destiny is you can't choose. Never mind, she said. Look, if I see you again, I'll have to kill you.
He watched her ship soar away. He would see her again, he decided. Even if he had to fight his way across the entire fleet. The Imperial fleet was cleaning up the few rebel remnants. For only a moment, he thought about running. Ah, but heroes don't run, even when the world is against them. Even when their cause is hopeless, and their efforts futile, and pointless, and useless, and death painful and guaranteed. He's decided to stop thinking for a while. Nice. That could be useful. The portal was heavily guarded. Let's go someplace they really didn't want it to go. Hoped his hook didn't break. I'm the hero.
It wasn't his fault. When I could feel his wounds closing, it was meaning.
I guess now I find out what's next, he thought.
This thing really needed a roof.
Renado's arm was sore, his armor wet with raven blood. He was tired of death. But death was not yet tired of him. The rebels were losing. Badly. In some other universe, Renado thought, he and Zenobia left sword school together, taken other names and sailed off into the mists. Not this Zenobia, and not him. For him, there was nothing to do but forge ahead. Kill the Emperor and end this. Unwounded. Soon he'd confront the Emperor. Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there? Renado wondered if his future self had commissioned these poems. reached the Emperor's ship. Zenobia was there. "Why'd you have to come back?" She said. "Guess I'm just serving my destiny." He shrugged. "You don't even know what that word means," she said. "Do you ever wonder if things have been different all the time?" she said, and drew her sword. In the end, Bernardo lay bleeding out on the deck. Zenobia sat by his side, upset. "What are you so upset about?" he asked. "You wouldn't understand. Why didn't you tell me you were going to leave school? I was afraid you'd convince me not to." "I guess I'll have to buy you a drink in the halls of the Valiant then," he told her, and then he was gone. Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future? A useful vision if it was true. He'd learned something. Zenobia still had feelings for him. He'd made bad choices. Now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo. On the other hand, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing. Lupino was no game changer, but could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens? The island was windswept deserts. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Reynardo went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis stone? Long hidden in a buried temple, another ancient item that was only resurfacing now, drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals? I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Reynardo.
This burning swamp in the south was terrific for barbecuing sausages and ravens.
The air here tasted bitter. The steps were too tall for a person. The entire place felt restless, like it had been vexed to nightmare under the dust, waiting for its hour to come around at last. Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good.
Cool. Wish I could do that.
One small step for a fox, he thought. I should go, he thought.
What were these poles exactly? Parking meters from the time of the lost gods?
What's there?
The Ravens, at least, could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
That is a very cool sword, thought Renara. No, seriously. He couldn't feel his paw anymore.
This couldn't be good for global warming.
It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. Who said that? It was the stone. Eager, thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Sky Ripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god, torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. "What's the core?" said the stone anxiously. "Maybe death. But I give you the power to do what you want." The stone bothered him. He hated being told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance. The stone felt a bit clingy. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Sky Ripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armor change, the core would still possess great power. He would go there. The moment he landed the Farfarer, Renato had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought. He could turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't want to kill Zenobia, did he? Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at sword-food school together. They'd never been lovers, but somehow they'd been closer. She'd told him every secret about herself. Except the biggest one, that she was the Emperor's daughter. No. Kill Zenobia, whispered the stone. Before it's too late.
I was in the bathroom, babe. Did you print out my pay stubs? Okay. They're gonna remove my number anyways. Who's?
That's your ID number.
No, it's not. My ID number is 214955077.
Yeah. Well, because I want to go put the trash in the back, you have to put in 214-05077.
That's not my number.
No, because I was in the bathroom and then I had to restart the computer and I didn't have time to do that. Well, I'll pick it up.
Just show it to me when you get home.
I gotta wait till the car gets fucking warm because I'm home. Wow.
What are you doing?
Fine, just look at all the fucking things. Fucking warm.
Ah, Zenobia. Now that he knew she still loved him, he wanted to go back to her. But that hadn't worked out yet. Maybe it was time to find the core of the Skywire. Don't look down, he thought.
Remember, they only had me work for 1 day.
I know, that's stupid.
That's what I was telling you. I texted you early when I was at work that he said that it's gonna be my last day me working there. Why you think they've been giving me only 1 day every week?
But both of them said you paid $500, but you only came home with $87. I said that the net pay said 500 and something, and then you only got paid $87. That's stupid. But that was the one that only had like the fucking 9 hours.
It don't matter. I don't care.
Hold on, man.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time. And this is why heroes are called dashing. Not
Give me a strawberry banana smoothie medium with whipped cream.
stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. "You're weak," whispered the stone. "The core will kill you." "Are you afraid of it?" "No, don't be ridiculous," it chuckled. But it's unstable. It will poison you if someone doesn't carry it. And if you try to use it, it will explode catastrophically. Bernardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head. He went onwards.
Well, he always wanted to do that.
Babe, tomorrow can we buy those bins so that we could put all these clothes away?
I gotta do it well. Talking about that. I can probably do it when I get off work. I can buy it out here in Walmart. If they have it here. So when I get off work, I can try to buy it. See how much they are here. Now then I go home, they go over there. So I'm gonna check here first.
Are you going over there? Are you going over there right now? Because I want to be able to do that tomorrow. Because I don't know if you work tomorrow.
I work tomorrow, but I'm not gonna have time. Anyways, it's already 10:50.
You're still gonna have time. Walmart doesn't close till 12.
No, it close to 11.
You're gonna have time.
No, I don't, because by the time I go home, by the time I go over here, it's already dark.
So what time you gotta go to work tomorrow?
11:30. That's what I'm saying.
As he approached the core, the stone became hysterical. "No! It's too much power. We'll rip a hole in space and die." He had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out. When Renato came to, the core was gone. But the Iblis stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent. "I can't hear you," he sang out. And, "You!" It didn't answer. "Ha!" he said. He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible. It was time to attack the Imperial outpost on the Nexus. Take the battle to the enemy. But among the huge crystals, there was also an observatory. A wise man would probably ask the scientists exactly what he had first. How wise was he? Sailed towards the Nexus. Renato wondered if the core had been created to silence the stone, or even to feed its hunger. Honestly, he didn't care. He felt terrific.
And he appreciated the quiet inside his head.
Was infested with ravens. But that didn't bother Renato. With each death, the converted Iblis stone in his gauntlets glowed brighter, and he felt stronger.
Wow. He was getting a bit bloodthirsty, wasn't he? Well, he wasn't one. He was a warrior. They're supposed to be bloodthirsty.
I thought you want to get home then.
Alright, baby, be careful.
Alright, how are you?
I love you too.
Renato wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really, really long tentacles.
This one contained nothing but unmatched gloves. And something more useful.
Smashing things was fun.
The core, absorbed in the stone, was doing its job perfectly.
Renato could feel a little eldritch jolt every time he downed a raven. But then it flowed into the glowing stone the way water flows down a riverbed. It all felt perfectly natural, as if all his life, this was what he had been meant to do.
Building these platforms was so expensive, they'd run out of budget for guardrails.
Renato tore through the last remaining guards at the outpost like hot coffee through snow. There was a far speaker towed here. He called the council speaker. He knew she would be thrilled. And she was. She wanted him to come back to base. They had plans to discuss, and a medal to give him. A large, golden medal. Great, said Renato. Let's talk about who else I can kill. Then the far speaker croaked again.
Hello, Renato,
He said,
if you get sick of slaughtering second-rate birds in the Nexus, I'm waiting for you in the mountains.
Zenobia. She missed him. She loved him. Once she saw how awesome he'd become, maybe she'd join him. They'd kiss and... Well, if she did refuse for some reason, he was no match for him now.
No doubt she hoped to lure him into a trap, but it didn't matter, did it? He could fight his way out of any trap. He was invincible. This was gonna be fun. So where was this ambush? Renato couldn't wait. At Sword Fu school, she'd always studied a little harder, practiced a little longer, complained really a lot less. And then she'd become a sorceress. He'd always known he'd have to take her by surprise or not at all. But this would be a surprise indeed.
He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he? Renato hoped his mother wasn't watching. Ice walls only let you through if they knew you were cool. Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
view, he thought. The mountain paths were infested with ravens. That was swell. Every time he cut one down, the stone glowed a little brighter. In fact, everything glowed a little brighter. Look how white the snow was, and how very blue the raven blood was. Seriously, where was she? He wanted to try his new strength against hers. Renado's paws were getting numb. Calaveras really didn't want company, did he? What was the point of this gate? Did they think no one would notice the lever? Renado felt antsy. He'd found a source of great power. But instead of joining with the rebels, he was on a fool's errand the Emperor's daughter had sent him on. The rebels were preparing a last-ditch attack against the Imperial fleet, counting on Renado to show up in time. Would he be too late? At the end of the path was Zenobia.
I thought you were going to ambush me, he said, a little put out.
I owe you better than that. I know how you feel about me, love. You want to join up with me, don't you? Got to admit, we make a great team.
Of all the arrogant, ham-handed, half-assed, half-witted...
Oh, come on. What else do you hear?
That, she said, as a dropship poured a bucket of green liquid on his head. Drowsy gas. You can't stop me with drowsy gas, Zenobia. My power's too strong. Zenobia? Where was she?
When he awoke,
That'd be a bit tawdry, wouldn't it? She was tossing the glowing stone from paw to paw. This is pretty.
Zenobia!
He shouted, and then he fell back into sleep. On the Farfarer, Renado drank his favorite headache remedy. But it did no good. Zenobia had beaten him again. Oh, he really should have listened to the Iblastone in the first place instead of messing around with the core. He had a bad feeling about the upcoming fight. What kind of hero Renato was bruised and tired. He wasn't looking forward to killing Rayleigh. Didn't even seem scary. It felt like a chore, like sweeping the practice room at Swordfield School, which he'd done his best to leave for Zenobia whenever he could. What would she do with the glowing Igla stone? That should terrify him, shouldn't it? But he just felt dumb and stupid as he carved his way towards probable doom. Once you try it, you're hooked. Where did that go to? There was a radiance at the end of a long, dark tunnel. Mother, he thought.
You know how many times I forgot that she was here? I know, I forgot. I keep forgetting. Why? Why?